citizens of Folly Town.
Well, there it is. Halo Studios suffering massive layoffs after Campaign Evolve launched last week to a very mixed reception. A lot of people did not like this game. A lot of people said they butchered Halo Combat Evolved.
And nobody saw it coming.
To make it for modern audiences. And this is brought to you by the people who famously, a couple of years ago, said that they hated Halo, that they were hiring people who hated
I'm pretty sure one of the guys who said that exact thing just got fired.
Halo, and it shows. It does show. This was a huge failure, right? Everybody's trying to be like, oh no, guys, it's just the alt-right chuds trying to spin the numbers. I'm like, I'm sorry, it looks to me like.
I saw somebody absolutely crashing out on Blue Sky, one of the devs that worked at Halo Studios. The chuds killed my favorite franchise. Yeah, whatever, man.
Ashish Sharma, the new boss at Xbox, was probably waiting to see how the launch went, and they knew it was terrible.
Oh, they knew.
It went terrible. Even before the game launched,
I heard that it barely got finished before launch, and we can tell.
Were criticisms about how it played on Steam and the writing and the new, was it Williams, the new character they added?
How are you gonna make a remake that's worse than the original?
The skull, the woke scold, is that what they call them? Where she's basically, boss and Master Chief around, she's very unlikable. And to be clear, I haven't played this game. I haven't purchased this game. I haven't downloaded this game.
Refuse.
Very few people have. That's the problem.
Yeah, Halo is dead to me. It's been dead since the Halo 4. I bought Halo 4, and then ever since then, I've been out. Oh no, what is dinging? I get a lot of notifications. Anyway, let's get back to it.
It's not doing well. And we did a video a couple days ago just talking about the decline in Halo, and it wasn't like Halo just died overnight. It's been dying for the last few years now.
It kind of did die overnight.
Did chase a certain
No, it died as soon as Bungie stopped making Halo games.
Audience, and they definitely did chase away their core customer base. And really, it's just another studio wearing the skin suit of OG Bungie, and even Bungie now is wearing the skin suit of Bungie, because those companies, this is what I try to get across to people, just because they have the name, just because they have the IP, they have the rights,
even if it's a bunch of the same developers at the studio, the people who manage the studio, the higher-ups, the business people, those are all different. And even if they're the same, they're going to have different ideas. They're really not into the culture. They're into making money, and they're into the making money culture.
Just because they call themselves,
that's why they lose money.
Studio or that studio.
Because they're solely focused on making more and more money, so they inshitify everything, so they can have cost cuts, so they can just make more money off of that instead of making a good product.
Or whatever, doesn't mean it's the same company. So Halo Studios was 343. 343 was spun off from Bungie. Then Bungie, basically Microsoft bought Xbox, whatever. The people that made Halo are no longer there. The people that made the games you love are no longer there. Just like George Lucas is no longer at Lucasfilm, right? And a lot of times what happens is people move on from these studios. They go form another studio, and they make like a spiritual successor that feels more like the original game, because the people involved are the people that were involved in the games you loved. None of these games that are imploding right now, these movie franchises that are imploding, very few of them have the original creative forces involved. And Halo, again, it's just a skin suit at this point. We talked about it. We had an esports center. Nobody played Halo. It used to be that
I said it was going to get to this point, and it couldn't have turned out better for me, And it's going to get much worse. Much, much worse.
Like the most popular game, nobody played it. They don't care. They don't care. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views,
I already did.
Rants, guys.
Yeah.
If you'd like to listen to the audio version of Clownfish TV, I guess it'd be Clownfish TV minus the TV, go out to iTunes.
I haven't watched it over there, but I am subscribed.
Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Look for Clownfish TV podcasts. We are there. And so this is, again, this quote is making the rounds right now. Frank O'Connor. We had people who we hired who hated Halo because of X, and it has made the rounds again. I believe Frank O'Connor got gone before, but they hired a bunch of people that didn't really care about Halo. They built this thing in Unreal Engine 5. Pirate Nation,
with a lot of contractors, which I don't know. They might have got rid of the contractors for Halo Studios. I don't think so. It really seems like it was soulless. Like they just kind of hired people to do jobs instead of making a game with passion.
Halo Studios has reportedly laid off several employees shortly after the launch of Halo Campaign Evolved because it didn't have the numbers it needed, I'm sure. And I think Asha Sharma, because she is gutting Xbox. And if you remember, she said that there's more monetization of Xbox.
I don't think that she's been doing nearly enough, but we're on the right track. I think that the whole thing's going to collapse, though. I think they're going to start selling off properties, and there's going to be no more Xbox. Maybe not soon, but I think it's eventually going to happen.
Xbox games happening on YouTube than at Microsoft right now. I think she was waiting to give these guys a chance to see how Halo launched, and it ran headfirst into the wood chipper. It did not do well. It got review bombed on Steam. It didn't have a lot of concurrent players for a Halo game. It's already getting its ass kicked. Nobody cares. They just don't care about this game. I don't know how it's doing on PlayStation, but obviously not well enough to keep these people on staff. And they said this is an indication of where Halo's going in the future, and people just aren't having it. So let's go read this article. This is coming from Insider Gaming.
They should be getting people like me wanting to buy it. People who don't have any money that will buy their thing. That's who you need to have on your side. People will buy your thing no matter what.
Halo Studios hit by layoffs after Campaign Evolved launch. Halo Studios recently released Halo Campaign Evolved. It's the first game in the long-running Xbox franchise to be released on a PlayStation platform. Unfortunately, following the game's release, the studio appears to be conducting layoffs.
I've been saving a lot of money here recently by not buying full-price AAA games. The only AAA game that I've bought was Resident Evil 9. That's pretty much just been Resident Evil for the past few years. And the rest of them are like $1 to $5 retro games, $10 indie games.
Halo Studios
they lost me.
Share layoff announcement on LinkedIn. Several LinkedIn posts reflect this, with multiple people stating that their time at the studio has ended. Nick Treitman, a producer, has noted that he was recently affected by a round of layoffs. After 6.5 years working on Halo and dodging just as many rounds of layoffs, it's finally caught up to me. I have nothing but love for Halo, so he doesn't hate Halo. And the folks at the studio.
I don't believe him.
This is just a tough reality in the gaming industry right now. Yeah, if you're getting laid off from Halo, if your Halo game doesn't sell, you have broken the whole fucking video game industry at this point. I'm open to new roles as a producer project manager working remotely. Oh, that's part of your problem. Or hybrid in the Seattle area.
Yeah, that's another thing. A lot of them work remote. They don't actually work with each other. So there's no cohesiveness of the culture at the office.
During my time, I've had the honor of supporting multiple amazing teams ranging from art, networking, and localization narrative, and being the product owner of Halo Infinite's social media multiplayer pillar. Halo Infinite, I said before, we had an esports center. It was on our computers for, I think we had it on all the rigs for about 3 years before I just wiped it. Literally nobody played it. I think we had like one person check it out and they weren't into it. Halo. That was Halo. Like 15 years ago, Halo was like on top of the world and nobody gives a shit. Like indie FPS games you've probably never heard of were getting more playtime than Halo. Like nobody cares. Yep. It's a dead brand. It's dead. It's lame. Nobody cares about it. And this
it's corporate.
Did not help.
And shitified.
Right? And the people working on the games did not help.
Slop.
Actually, Halo was great up through 3. Reach. I think, was Reach the last one Bungie worked on? I think it was the last one
it was
Bungie
Reach.
worked on. But yeah, there was a definite difference in 4 and 5. Paul Morris was listed as Scrum Master, and his time at the studio has come to an end. Today, I learned my time at Halo Studios will be coming to an end following the successful launch of Halo Campaign Evolved. Okay, you keep telling yourself that, Paul. I mean, again, like, look, gaming and animation, it's basically gig work, right? And I'm starting to wonder now, the bloat. Is the reason that there's so much bloat in the video game industry because these people are dragging ass on getting the games done because it's job security for them?
Right.
I'm just wondering. I mean,
it's not really just that. It's just a job in general for them, and it can't be. When it comes to making movies, when it comes to making video games, comics, books, whatever, it can't just be a job. you have to be passionate. I say it all the time. You have to want to make the thing that you're making. You want to make it a culture that you're a part of, not just like your office job or your remote job. You're making a thing together with a bunch of people. Everybody likes to talk about how corporations like to pretend that you're a family. Well, you actually need to be a family whenever you're making games and movies and shows and whatnot. It's a little bit different than making like a bag of chicken.
I mean, I'm just saying this out loud. Like, are they dragging, like, oh, we need another 2 years. Basically, you need to keep paying us 2 more years. We need to stay on staff 2 more years. Because once the game is over and it's done, it's like painting a house. You're done, right? But if you paint that house very slowly, have you guys ever seen Murphy Brown? Remember the sitcom from the 80s, Murphy Brown? She had a live-in house painter, and he never got done with the house. He was just there, like, what's his name? Eldon? I forget. It's been a long time since I watched it. But he was like in the house all the time. He never freaking got done, and it became a joke. He was there for like multiple seasons painting this damn house that never got done. That's what it feels like with a lot of these video game companies. I mean, there was one studio, they shut it down in, was it Canada? And I think it was Ubisoft. And like, was it Ubisoft?
I think so.
NetEase. One of the
no, I think it was Ubisoft
companies. Anyway, they shut the studio down because 5 years they
Ubisoft
had like
Montreal?
100, 200 people on staff, and they hadn't put out a single game. And I'm like, again, this is just tinfoil hat. Are these people dragging it out as long as possible? Is this
That's part of
why we're having the creep? Is this why the games cost so much? Because they're not getting in, doing the job, and leaving because they want job security, which, hey, I understand job security. You want job security, that's great. It's not realistic. It's gig work. Okay, you work on a game, when it's done, you're done. And that's
it's like being a stagehand. You go and you work for the whoever's concert it is. It doesn't really matter to you. You just do your job, and then you go home. And then you go back to your real life and you do your actual real job. It's just like a side thing. I think that's what it's pretty much turned into. Unless you're really fucking good. Small team. You could even ride off of just one game your entire life. But you're going to make more just because of the fucking love of the game.
Kind of how it works in animation, too. Now, if you work at like a Disney or something like that, you're going to probably be put on staff for the most part. But like, look at Pixar. Pixar just laid a ton of people off, and Toy Story 5 did
for
very,
anybody.
very well because they know going forward they don't need that many people. And Halo, like, I don't even understand what the game plan is, no pun intended, with Halo. It feels to me like you just release the Bungie games again. They did. Master Chief Collection. Do we need any more Halo? Probably not. You know what they'll probably do? Halo is going to be a Minecraft thing, because that's what Asha Sharma said she wants to go in on. She basically said Minecraft is subsidizing the rest of Xbox.
I love me some Minecraft, man. I played Minecraft still. I played Minecraft literally fucking yesterday. I love Minecraft. I hope they don't fuck it up.
Most of their money comes from Minecraft. And so, you know, when you're spending $200 million or whatever on a freaking Halo remake nobody wants or asked for, you know, what are you supposed to do? I know this is one of the most challenging job markets our industry has ever seen, and I know the road ahead won't be easy, said Paul Morris. I'm not done. My purpose has not changed. Caleb Lawrence, software engineer, listed himself as available for work. Insider Gaming is going to continue to monitor it. So if you go out to Pirate Nation, he's got some of the screenshots. It's coming from Smash JT. Wow. I mean, look, I always feel bad for people getting laid off. I do.
I don't.
But I'm also like, when you see them get fired, like we saw the other day with Bethesda. And
bro, you know how many times I've been laid off? Nobody gave a fuck. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if people get laid off. Go find another job.
They had all their unionized workers, and some of them were literally rocking communist tattoos and demanding. They're like, oh, we want respect and dignity. Well, respect and dignity is sending a nice letter and then telling you why we have to cut you loose and giving you severance. That is respect and dignity. Respect and dignity is not, we keep you on staff forever, even if we can't afford it, and the company folds and then everybody loses their job. You know, it's like, and that's what a lot of these people want, I think. You know, it's kind of, I don't understand this, because as somebody who was for a while a freelance creative, it's a rough gig. It really is, because you don't know a lot of times where your next work is coming from, but also you need to accept that reality. And anything creative, it's like you don't go to the the comic book factory and work there for 50 years and get a watch, you know? And I mean, it used to be that way, again, at companies like Disney, because they always had animation in production. You know, they had other ways of subsidizing the animation, like the theme parks and stuff like that. But for the most part, that's not how it works. And I understand they're working for a company like Microsoft and they're thinking, well, Microsoft, you know, is going to keep us on forever because they're Microsoft.
Well, let me tell you something about Microsoft. They ain't doing so hot anymore either. And I think Linux is really going to be a problem for them. I think that they didn't expect it.
Infinite money. I'm like, not if you're not bringing it. When your new boss is looking at the
They were kicked out of multiple countries, by the way.
Bottom line, and she's like, Xbox doesn't pay for itself, and then you launch Halo Campaign Evolved, and it does not pull good numbers on Steam.
Yep, goodbye.
Right? But they're probably looking at the internals on PlayStation, and it's not pulling good numbers, and gamers hate it. A lot of them, not everybody, but a lot of them. It was getting bad reviews, even from the mainstream journalists. A couple of weeks ago, they said it just runs like shit on Steam. They said that the writing was very Marvel-esque. So
there was that weird fuzziness that people were getting if they didn't have the top-of-the-line systems.
It's not
that
looking
weird
good.
AI
so
fuzziness.
She lets it launch.
Which actually wasn't AI. It kind of was. It was actually a system that was like a dithering system that would overlay graphics on top of it to make it look realistic. And this is what they were wasting their time on instead of making a good game. They were making tech demos.
Launch before she does anything to
Look
see, because it's
how pretty
Halo,
it
right?
is.
That used to be their crown jewel, right? Halo used to be their Minecraft. They let it launch. It lands with a thud, just like Halo Infinite. And she's like, yeah, we can't afford you anymore. Sorry. There are YouTubers making videos about Halo, making more money than you're making for us right now. You got to go. It's that simple. It really is not hard. This is not hard to understand.
They should really jump into the chud culture and start making their own YouTube videos in order to subsidize the video games.
We covered this guy, Nick, Caleb Lawrence, software engineer at Halo, gone. Mikey S. Overheard at Halo Studios. I'm just a stack of excuses over here. He's gone. Let's see here.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Firelight says I'm okay with this. Phaeton says not nearly enough. Oh no. Good, wipe the blue hairs out of the industry. All of them, says Retro Gamer Kong. So yeah, but oh no, here we go. The memes about McDonald's. Hey, McDonald's.
I don't even want them. No. Don't even start that. I do not want these people working at McDonald's. They're making McDonald's worse. I want to go back to when McDonald's was a part of American culture again. We do not need them working at McDonald's. Honestly, I want them out of the country. Deport them all to Australia or some shit. Or Gaza, since they love Gaza so much.
Some good help. I mean, there are some really good McDonald's. There's some McDonald's that's just like, it's not consistent, man. I feel like McDonald's used to be.
It's because these people work there.
Just overall. So maybe we'll get some better people at McDonald's. The Zero Gaming Times. Halo Studios start laying off devs after destroying Halo Campaign Evolved. Yeah, pretty much. Internal sources claim woke overhaul of classic franchise triggered max exodus and canceled remake plans. Oh my god, I thought Upper Deck replied on this.
Are the Halo remake plans canceled? Like Halo 2 and 3? Oh man, I hope they are. If not, then it's just going to further the suffer. Either way, it's a win-win for me.
It was an ad. I was like, what? Yes, FO. FO, FA, FA, FO. There we go, guys. They just found out. It's, yeah. This person, Wilbur, said, considering they've created exactly one game in a decade, I'm guessing they hired a bunch of people who never belonged in the industry to begin with. Yes, that keeps happening. I really do think that some of these developers are dragging things out as long.
It also has to do with real people, real passionate people who have talent. They're not working at these studios because who wants to work for a corporation? Who wants to be in that corporate culture with all of these weirdos? No, they're out making Schedule 1.
Long as possible. But this is the find out part of the video game industry. This is why we're seeing so many layoffs. And then again, not to be a dick, because there are some people getting laid off that have decades of experience, but in their case, they're probably just too expensive. Or, you know,
yeah.
I mean, let's be honest here.
Charge less.
You're expensive, and you'll probably push back against management because you've been there longer than they have, and you'll be like, hey, this isn't really going to work. This is how we used to do it, and they're going to be like, shut up, or we're going to have 3.
Yep, go make your own games because working at a corporation just ain't it.
After spending hundreds of millions of dollars trying to crush Steam, Epic
That's a lot
and
of money.
Xbox have finally given up on their original game plan. Epic is
Of course.
literally ripping out the guts of their
Nobody saw it coming.
launcher because it was built inside a game engine. And Tim Sweeney just admitted
What?
in an interview that Valve doesn't have a monopoly after all. Meanwhile,
Oh, you don't
Microsoft
say.
is quietly turning Windows 11 into an Xbox interface instead of fighting Steam. So why
Fuck
did
yeah.
multi-billion-dollar giants fail to dethrone the platform? And why are their new 2026 strategies still missing the point? One of the biggest issues plaguing alternative
Well, it's probably because they're not actually into the culture. They're into a fake manufactured culture that was created by international investors and corporations.
PC storefronts has always been basic software performance. Steam users have taken instant library loading, minimal system overhead, and reliable background updates for granted for over a decade. By contrast, the Epic Games launcher became infamous for slow load times, high resource usage,
I've never used
and
it.
the root cause of this
I used it right at the beginning when it first came out, and they were releasing all kinds of crazy free games. But it doesn't even matter anymore for those games that I claimed because I stopped using the launcher.
explode comes down to a fundamental choice. The Epic Games launcher was built as an application inside Unreal Engine, rather than a lightweight
That's so
native
dumb.
desktop app. Opening the launcher effectively meant booting up a full game engine environment just to render the digital storefront and load a list.
Let me guess, they did it as a tech demo. They were just doing it just to see if they could do it, because apparently they like to do that in the gaming industry now.
Of games. In February 2026, then general manager of the Epic Games Store, Steve Allison,
I mean, just look at Halo. They wasted all their time on that technology to make it look pretty, that dithering thing. For what?
addressed the launcher's state. The launcher sucks. Let's call it what it is. It's really slow. Allison confirmed that Epic had begun work in October 2025 to completely strip out that bloated framework. We're ripping the guts out of the Epic Games launcher entirely. Well, mostly entirely.
I don't think it's gonna work.
Replacing it. Epic's internal testing data for the upcoming launcher V2, which is targeting a public beta in mid-August 2026 sometime.
Nobody trusts Epic is the thing. Everybody trusts Valve and GOG or GOG, whatever you want to call it.
Around Gamescom claims cold boot speeds are 5 to 6.5 times faster after abandoning the heavy legacy architecture. So we should get more info on this in the coming weeks when the public beta is here. However, right as the multi-year rebuild reaches its critical testing phase, the leadership guiding it suddenly shifted. In mid-July 2026, Steve Allison quietly departed Epic Games after 8 years leading the store to become Chief Business Officer at Saber Interactive.
Of course.
Tim Sweeney publicly thanked
these corporations, they just trade people all the time. I saw that Bobby Kotick is going to like Paramount or something.
Allison on X for growing the storefront to 78 million monthly active users before announcing Martin Keeley, the former head of Blizzard's Battle.net, as the new vice president and general manager of the Epic Games Store. While Allison offered standard corporate optimism about his new role at Saber, his departure right before Launcher V2's public rollout signals a definitive end to EGS's original era. Allison was the architect of Epic's aggressive exclusivity-first playbook that they are known for. Comparing...
Yeah, dude, it ruined Borderlands for me. Borderlands 3, when it came out, it was Epic exclusive first, and it pissed me off to no end because I bought every Borderlands right as they came out up until that point. And I couldn't because I wasn't going to waste my time on getting it on fucking Epic when all of my games were already on Steam.
Launcher V2 to Steam highlights the gap Epic is trying to close. Steam refined its lightweight store years ago, allowing users to launch games instantly without navigating through heavy store menus. When gamers...
I think a big problem they have is they're trying to compete with Steam when they really need to be competing with, like, a Nintendo. I think they need to compete with Nintendo and have a Nintendo-like experience on PC. And also have a whole bunch of promises that they can keep. Like all of these games that they release will be DRM free. That was another big problem that I was running into with my free games, was they were all DRM locked and I couldn't fucking play them on Linux unless I did a whole bunch of weird workarounds.
switch between Steam and Epic, the performance gap instantly creates friction, so fixing their launcher addresses basic user frustration, but software speed alone brings Epic to baseline parity, rather than giving gamers a compelling reason to make Epic Game Store their primary client. The second major pillar of Epic's 2026 roadmap is
A really good one that they could compete with is GOG. GOG is not really trying to compete with Steam. They're kind of their own thing. They've got their own library of games. GOG is the place that you go for the retro games. Steam is the place you go for the newer games and indie games. So you can have that library.
adding basic community and discovery features. Unveiled during Unreal Fest in mid-June 2026, Epic's 12-month development timeline includes user-written reviews and ratings, player profiles, custom avatars, and activity feeds.
It's too much.
Improved search, library filters, and third-party patch notes. But when you look closely at these additions, it shows Epic is adding features Steam users have relied on for over a decade. Steam's user review system features algorithms that filter out off-topic review bombs, track playtime statistics at the point of review, and display historical rating trends. Beyond reviews, Steam operates as an integrated social ecosystem. Valve built Steam Workshop, native control.
You're not going to beat Steam if you try and copy Steam. It's just not going to work because you're not going to be as good. You need to do something else. I think you need to go more for the PC gamers. I think they're going for like console gamers who are switching over to PC, and still they're going to go for Steam.
Controller configuration tools with Steam
See?
input,
Yeah.
user guides, trade markets, and public community hubs. This dynamic illustrates why developer-facing economics have not automatically
You can't do
shifted
that.
consumer
You can't do all of that. It's too much for you to handle. Steam has been around for so long.
habits. Epic continues to offer developers an 88-12 revenue split alongside programs like Epic First Run and a policy giving developers 100% of their first $1 million in net revenue. Former Epic Game Store head Steve
What does that matter if nobody's using the Epic Steam or Epic Game Store?
Allison explained Epic's long-term commercial goal in early 2026. Our growth is not about the exclusives. Our growth is going to come from shifting the share of sales on games shipping in both places. We're not going to topple Steam. Steam is a huge part of the PC ecosystem. It's not going away. Noting that Epic hopes to capture 30% to 40% of the PC market share over
Not gonna
5
work.
years. But while developers
Fucking idiots, dude. They need to offer a different service that is missing. That's what they need to do. A really good one that they could do is acquire a whole bunch of console games from older generations and be the place for console games. We don't really have anything like that yet. Everybody's still using emulators because there's really not a place to get old console games.
appreciate Epic's lower revenue cuts. Players buy their games where their friends list, mod libraries, and profile history already are. Epic is adding baseline store features in 2026, while Valve already spent over 2 decades building feature dependency into theirs. But on the other side of things,
And refining it exactly how people like it. Because there were problems along the way. And now Epic's going to have to face those same problems that people already had solved by Steam.
while Epic is focusing on store software, Microsoft is taking a different approach to PC gaming. In late July 2026, rumors circulated after comments on the Xbox 2 podcast
See, Microsoft just figured it out.
suggested Microsoft might pull its games off of Steam to force users onto the Xbox app.
That's
the
not
rumor
what I'm
was
talking about.
quickly clarified just to be taken out of context.
I thought he was about to bring up the fact that they're bringing Xbox 360 and Xbox games to PC. And I love that move. We need more old console games on PC that aren't just fucking emulators. I want a library that I can keep downloading from, you know?
Microsoft generates a lot of revenue from Steam sales for titles like Sea of Thieves, Call of Duty, and Forza, plus many more, which would make a Steam exit financially impractical. Instead, Microsoft's 2026 PC strategy focuses on integrating Xbox features directly into the Windows OS while continuing to release games on Steam. The core of this strategy is Xbox Mode on Windows 11. Xbox Mode offers a full-screen controller-optimized interface designed specifically for gaming laptops, handhelds like the ROG Ally, and desktop PCs. It aggregates games from Game Pass, the Microsoft Store, and even third-party launchers into a single interface.
I just don't want the ads. Just get the ads out, or make the ads better. If they'd be less corporate and less shitty, then I wouldn't mind the ads, actually.
On July 22nd, 2026, Microsoft officially launched Xbox backward compatibility on PC in early access, introducing original Xbox titles to the
I own 3 out of 4 of these games. I don't have the Conquer game. I have the other 3. On disc, the cases are right next to me.
PC ecosystem. These games feature 4x resolution upscaling, full-screen windowed options, and Xbox Play Anywhere digital cross-ownership. Leaked publisher roadmap documentation outlines upcoming phases, including a disc-to-digital program allowing physical console disc owners to claim PC licenses, alongside planned Xbox 360 backward compatibility rollouts for 2027 and 2028. So Microsoft is planning to bring some of your most iconic games to your PC. Microsoft's target with Xbox Mode is essentially just SteamOS and Big Picture Mode. Rather than trying to force players to abandon Steam,
I hope it looks like this. I hope it looks like the Xbox Live Arcade, or even if we're able to have different themes, that'd be awesome. It could have the fucking, what do you call it, the Blades theme. That's my favorite one.
Microsoft is attempting to own the interface wrapper on Windows devices. However, Valve's work with Proton and SteamOS on the Steam Deck and now the new Steam hardware which is out gives Steam a head start in handheld UI and performance optimization, presenting a direct hurdle for Microsoft's efforts.
Yeah, I'm definitely going for Steam over Microsoft. For one, I'm a Linux user, so I really know how to use Linux,
which we see right now with new handhelds picking
I don't like
SteamOS over Windows for their devices. This shift,
but you know what Microsoft is doing is going to create competition.
In how Epic and Microsoft are trying to compete with Valve align with a broader narrative change from Epic's leadership. During the height of Epic's legal battles and antitrust campaigns against Apple and Google, Tim Sweeney regularly highlighted 30% platform fees, including Valve's standard split, as harmful to the industry. However, in his June 2026 interview with PC Gamer, Sweeney changed his framing. When discussing Valve's position in the PC ecosystem and why Epic is now advocating for an open, interconnected standard called Team Open, Sweeney said, "Steam's got a pretty sweet business. A lot of gamers love Steam, but imagine if you could have Steam on all of the platforms. What if you could have it on iPhone? What if you could have it on Android? It's now clear that nobody's going to..."
But that's not what we're getting. You're talking about putting Epic on all of those things.
End up with an absolute monopoly over gaming. Valve's not going to have one. 8 years after the launch of the Epic Game Store, Valve's market share remains secure. So what we're seeing here with the changes coming from Epic and Xbox in 2026 represent necessary structural fixes. Epic building a faster launcher and adding basic social features removes long-standing points of friction for players, claiming free titles or just playing Fortnite. Microsoft introducing Xbox Mode and bringing legacy console backward compatibility to PC adds tangible value for their users.
Yeah, and that's not good for Epic.
Yet neither strategy directly threatens Steam's market position.
Yeah, because it's still Microsoft and Epic.
Valve's advantage in PC game distribution goes beyond store.
And also, Linux, just, you can change the vibes of it. You don't have to go for the Xbox walled garden and the way it looks and everything. You can literally change it however you want it, and it already looks good. That dark, sleek, almost PS2-like vibe that the Steam machine gives off, love it.
Or fees or launcher boot times. Steam's core...
Honestly, Steam's vibes just remind me of a mixture between Windows Vista, which is my favorite Windows when it comes to how it looks, not how it runs. I fucking hate Windows Vista. But the way it looks is amazing. I love it. Mix Windows Vista with PlayStation 2, and that's what you get. You get Steam.
strength is the total value of its platform features. Every time a user configures a controller through Steam Input, downloads a mod from the Steam Workshop, checks a community guide, or plays a game on Linux using Proton, Valve adds functional utility that competitors have not matched. When competitors focus on basic feature parity, like adding user reviews or reducing launcher.
You know, one thing that I think is coming from Steam, but I really wish they would hurry up with, or they would do, is to have outside mod support. I want to be able to install mods through Steam that I don't just drop manually, unless that's already a thing and I'm just missing out on that. Let me know down in the comments.
Load times, which would seem like obvious changes, they are working to match the experience Steam offered years ago. Epic Games Store's new vice president and general manager Martin Keeley, who took over leadership in late July 2026, faces the task of executing Launcher V2 and its up.
God damn it, dude. Is it like they just always pass around the same people over and over again? This is why they're so enshittified. They're just passing around the same people, and they make everything the same because they have the same strategies because it's the same fucking people.
Upcoming feature waves. However, as long as alternative storefronts focus on catching up to Steam's baseline features rather than offering a distinct functional advantage, Valve's position at the top of the PC ecosystem won't change.
By the way, did you guys hear that a lot of the accusations from Blizzard were proven to be untrue? In case you didn't know, all of the allegations of sexual misconduct, abuse, harassment, and quote, frat boy culture were entirely fake, and the state of California even admitted that there was no evidence.
I'm pretty sure I said this at the time. I don't remember, but I think that I did. I feel like I did. Or at least I alluded to there being no evidence of any of it.
Substantiating any of the claims. The entire controversy around Blizzard was set up by California to force the company to stop hiring white men using Me Too allegations to strong-arm them.
They're not the only ones, by the way. I think this happened across the board.
The accusations were so bizarre and insane that they included theft and consumption of breast milk during work hours,
I remember
a rape room named after Bill Cosby, sexual harassment to the point of an employee ending her life. All of these claims were essentially a theater performance over the fact that only 1 in 5 Blizzard employees were women. As a result, Blizzard agreed to pay roughly $18 million in fines and set up HR hiring practices that would discriminate against white men. Internal messages between California civil rights division officials showed the entire
Isn't that illegal?
thing was a ploy to send a message to the industry to literally ruin video games.
Just for additional context, I'm just going to read the court filing.
How about that? A bunch of commie feminist douchebags took over the gaming industry and made it worse. And I don't think it just happened in the video games industry. I think it happened across the entire entertainment industry, including the movies and TV shows. I think it's just there was a commie mind virus that was created on social media, and all these people basically talk themselves and each other into it, and they're retarded.
No court or any independent investigation has substantiated any allegations that there has been systemic or widespread sexual harassment at Activision Blizzard, that Activision Blizzard senior executives ignored, condoned, or tolerated a culture of systemic harassment, retaliation, or discrimination. Unlike its customer base of increasingly diverse players, defendants' workforce is only about 20% women. Its top leadership is also exclusively male and white. The CEO and president roles are now and have always been held by white men. Very few women ever reach top roles at the company. The women who do...
Yeah, there's a reason for that. You have to do a whole bunch of workarounds and tricks and lies and manipulation to get people fired in order for you to be seen as equal. But we're all created equal, and some people end up more equal than others. And usually that means they're equally retarded and degenerate.
Who reach higher roles earn less salary, incentive pay, and total compensation than their male peers, as evidenced in defendants' own records.
After Blizzard capitulated and announced that it would discriminate, and its hiring state was walked back from a $1 billion lawsuit to a $55 million settlement, and announced that all of the allegations were fake. And generally, sort of behavior is called extortion and racketeering. If they had the proof and everything, why did the state say there was no evidence after the investigation? Chris Kaliki, he used to work at Blizzard. He was one of the main designers for Monks back in the day. Even Jason Schreier admits in his latest book that the Cosby Suite was a fake nothing burger and Kotaku was full of shit. But the damage was done.
Yeah, Jason Schreier. I know that guy. He's a piece of shit liar.
and many great Blizzard developers had, in some cases,
I didn't mean to rhyme there, but yeah, it works.
20-plus year careers ruined since nobody wanted to hire, quote, problematic developers when it was all fake. Heartbreaking and infuriating. Keep in mind that Jason Schreier also posted some total bullshit about Chris Kaliki's studio. Video game staff, video game firms, viral. Yeah, there it is. It's pretty wild that in 2021, a new game studio still looks like this.
What the fuck? This is still kind of gay compared to what I want.
So this is a person who tried to attack Chris Kaliki's studio, Notorious, because they didn't have enough black people or women. This is way worse. Is it really? Here's a hot take. I like the Vowed way more than Claire Obscure. Cancel him.
Okay,
you see posts like...
Yeah, I bet. That is such a fucking virtue signal to the left.
This, and you think to yourself, this person is just not, they're just retarded. So the entire investigation and everything that happened was totally proven to be bullshit. How about no one is reporting on this? Because nobody cares about Blizzard anymore. Blizzard doesn't make any good games because they fired everybody that makes good games.
Yep. I really noticed when I got tricked into buying Diablo 4 because all of my friends wanted to play it, and we all hated it. Guess what? We're not playing anymore. Definitely not getting into World of Warcraft.
Former Bungie community manager Lena Rupert caught lying about getting assaulted by gamers.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What?
Here.
What?
So in this video, I'm going to be talking about a very bizarre situation involving a former community manager for Bungie and a current community manager for Fallout. We've seen all kinds of ridiculous behavior in the gaming industry, especially when it comes to the type of people like Lena Rupert here.
Dude, why is this so widespread throughout the entire industry?
Who love to be the center of it.
And not particularly this situation. There's just all kinds of weird stuff. There's like a situation where a Batman artist was filming guests, including children, in the bathroom at a party, which he's not facing fucking anything for, and he should be in the wood chipper. Am I allowed to say that? Too bad. There's the Pokemon situation where the guy was same thing, had a camera set up in the bathroom recording people. Like, what the fuck is with that? Why is that two situations from similar types of leftoid freaks, you know?
Attention, and worse yet, will do anything.
She put her
to be
account
the
on.
You got the thing of Blizzard, and you got this. Well, the thing is that Blizzard was a lie, but that's the point. They fired everybody over a lie.
victim as well. In the past, we have seen game devs, community managers, writers, etc. do everything to make themselves the victim by faking hate messages, hate reviews, all kinds of things like that before getting caught in 4K. But I've never seen anything quite like this,
What is
where
this?
Lena Rupert recently tried to claim that she was attacked by Destiny fans at a convention.
What the
Now
fuck?
you can see the community note that would be applied dispelling her lies, because after going viral and having her arm twisted into telling the truth, she finally admitted it didn't happen at the convention, and she really has no idea if this was Destiny players or not. And
What the f-
I thought you were talking about the streamer Destiny. Okay. That's even weirder, man. Destiny players, like they're just like a mind virus cult. Are you kidding me? That's not how that works. There's not just like Destiny fans out there in the street creating havoc and starting riots because Destiny 2 got ended. What are you talking about here?
when she was finally confronted on the truth, and even the convention itself spoke out against her, she would private her account. She did what every good journalist does these days. They make something really stupid in a post, and then they immediately lock down their account the second they get any accountability.
And you know that she's just going to be traded within the industry just like everybody else. She's going to keep her job. She's going to still stay at these places.
Oh
And
my
also,
God.
locking your account with 500,000 followers is like barricading your door with a pencil. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
But before we get into all the recent stuff, here's a little history on Lena Rupert here. As you can see, she
What
is
the
a
fuck?
former community manager for Bungie, but a current one for Fallout. And she is
How
a
about that?
community manager, narrative writer, influencer.
Dude, I fucking tell everybody all the time, Asha Sharma has not done enough. Needs to get all of these freaks out of the games, out of the games industry. Really, I want them out of my country. Deport them all. Deport all these commie freaks.
Influencer manager, PR, marketing, an event planning expert.
So she's a worthless bitch.
Yep.
And here's some of the brands
Yeah.
she has worked for. And yes,
We got a lot of them.
That's what I'm saying, man. Dude, they get passed around. Every fucking company. She's just gonna go work somewhere else.
Deep into the industry. Now, of course, like many others in the industry, she has a seething hatred of white people and men.
Yeah.
Here's just a small
How about
compilation of her tweets about white people and men. Here's one saying you can't be racist against white people.
No.
And then in response to a complaint from a gamer saying sounds about whites. Then down
That one's funny. I'll give her that.
here calling someone a mouthy little white boy.
Can you imagine if somebody said a mouthy little black boy? Can you imagine that? Oh my god, they would be fired so fast. It's crazy how white people put up with this amount of disrespect and we don't equally. We need to chimp out. We do. We need to chimp out.
The problem with that is we're fucking reasonable. Well, the good kinds of white people. Obviously, this is a white person saying this shit. But, like, if I said whatever the fuck she said, reverse it with black boy, the people who follow me who are black would laugh at that.
In a big way.
And then over here, blaming white men for all the problems in the industry.
Yeah.
Here saying F him and F all white folks like him.
Yeah.
And then also just saying more ridiculous stuff about white people.
What a stupid
And of course,
bitch.
I don't know for a fact. Maybe she identifies as a different race. This is the gaming industry
Yeah.
in 2026. But she looks pretty white to me. So besides the blatant racism here and the misandry, she seems to be another self-hating white person, which to me is one of the most pathetic things you could ever be
true.
on the planet. On top of that,
It's
she's a
embarrassing.
hypocrite, because of course she is. And other
You should only do it as a joke. You should only hate your own race and other races as a joke only. If you actually feel these feelings, you are a retard. Unless you're like going by percentage, then sure, whatever, man. 85% of every race sucks.
situations where her friends were being attacked,
Yeah.
she said it's never okay to use race as a personal attack, despite having an entire compilation of her doing just that to other people.
I don't know why anybody would even try to, like, I mean, again, we all know that these people are super hypocritical. You're going to have a million examples of them being hypocritical because they don't have any values other than trying to tell everybody else what to do.
And by other people, I mean white people.
Yeah.
Now, before we get
What
into the current stuff, you have to
obnoxious.
understand that Marathon is the sort of backdrop of that. And I also want to give an update on this absolute dumpster fire of a game. We all know the player numbers for this game are atrocious, and Sony sunk billions into acquiring.
What are they now? They're 95% down from the player base from when they started, and they already started low. Dude, they're at 5% player base numbers. That's fucking insane.
Bungie to make this game their future. And with less than 2 million copies sold, things are looking very grim. Not to mention the very disliked decision by Bungie to reallocate their resources from Destiny 2 over to Marathon. And how did that work out for them?
Still
well,
haven't
right
pulled the
now,
plug yet?
Destiny
No.
2 is sitting at 35,000 in-game
It's like
players.
a month after
An
that release,
astoundingly
too.
good number for a game that is literally dead. Like, there's nothing else coming to this game. It's over, and yet people are still funneling into this game at a rate that is around 10 times that of Marathon. Now, speaking of Marathon, the shills are doing everything in their power to continue to try to pump some life and good PR into this game.
Of
you can
course.
see shill posts like this saying Marathon has been
You know, it's kind of funny how Marathon themselves aren't doing these kinds of rallies. It's the players themselves having to do it. It's kind of pathetic.
I don't
seeing
even
a
think this is a
strong
shill post, honestly.
resurgence of players with the release of their PvE mode
Yeah.
to the game. This tweet being posted about a week ago. And you can see this
That's not a strong resurgence, by the way. They spent so much money on that studio in this game.
strong resurgence to 14,000 players, by the way, with a massive introduction
not a
of
big deal.
PvE mode. And overall, how's it doing today, a week later? Oh, look at that.
Oh,
Can't understand why they hate men.
20,000.
A lot of women have negative experiences with men that they try to externalize and then put on every other man. That's usually what happens. And then they also do it because they think that they can get away with it. It's like a way of social messaging. Women do consensus-based social messaging. A person like that would probably be talking about how great Hitler was if Hitler won World War II. They don't really have any values other than consensus messaging. You shouldn't look at them as anything other than just obnoxious, attention-seeking retards.
The in-game players, ladies and
It's
gentlemen.
really
The
what they are.
future of Bungie. What a great investment by Sony right here. They've made such good decisions. They pulled all the right levers.
Yeah, these people, whenever you get them together and they start talking to each other, it's like, man, men are such pigs. They like to go out there and sexually assault people and say racial slurs. Yeah, I was sexually assaulted by a man. Well, I was sexually assaulted by a man 5 times. Well, I was raped. Well, I was raped 5 times. Oh, I feel so bad for you. That's what these people are like when you get them together. They're just gassing each other up off of retarded shit.
With these series of decisions, but as you can see, going down here to the max chart, not like the cropped small time frame that we saw in the Shills post, this is the massive resurgence that he was talking about.
Yeah.
The massive resurgence.
Well, it did double the player
to 14,000 players.
Just didn't matter.
Only a tiny fraction of the number we saw
then
in
also
release.
it went down
and
even
what
worse.
happened? After that resurgence, it actually dipped lower than before PvE mode was introduced. That's how bad things are for Marathon. But wait,
it's over.
do not introduce
It's been
Steam
over.
DB numbers or Steam charts, anything like that, because Marathon Shills will
wanna
threaten
kill you.
violence on
Yeah.
you. Yes, they're totally not insecure, and they're totally normal people defending Marathon
This is the girl.
to this
I want to
degree.
go back to the girl.
But let's get back to Leanna Rupert. What's her connection? Well, of course, she is a former community manager for Bungie, and when
Isn't that weird as fuck that this girl is going around saying that, like, so wait, is what she's saying that the company that she used to work at had a fan that, like, was violent to her in real life? Like, I mean, I'd say that's like, I mean, I don't think it's defamation, but it's like just super, like, that's insanely unprofessional to do. Like, who the fuck says that?
she saw all this discussion about Destiny 2 and Marathon, she felt the need to weigh in, saying the only way to keep Bungie alive is to support Marathon. Yes, they were literally begging.
Let's listen to a community manager about that. That's like listening to the secretary about what a legal firm should do. Actually, that's not true. Secretaries at legal firms generally have legal experience. A secretary at a firm that has nothing to do with that. This is like a janitor. You're a janitor.
To go play Marathon, and it's the only way to save Bungie. Don't you want to save the billion-dollar corporation? Go spend your money on Marathon. Yeah, ridiculous. Obviously, this had a very negative impact. People were clowning on this. And you have the related posts like this, where a user asked, if you can really give me with a hand on your heart, your word, that this really has an impact, I'd buy Marathon in an instant and spread the message as we all need Destiny 3. And then
How pathetic, dude. I need Destiny 3. Dude, there's so much out there. You don't need Destiny 3. I don't get it. I don't get this, like, fandom bullshit where you attach yourself, your whole life, your whole identity to a game, like Asmongold did with World of Warcraft for the longest time, but he healed. He got better.
Then Leanna responds with a hand over her heart, ensuring that you should go and
Also, bro, you need to fix that hairline. Holy shit.
buy Marathon, even with the subtle promise that it might get Destiny 3 to actually happen. And then we have this series of interactions that is downright embarrassing, where eventually you can see Leanna claiming that the acquisition of Bungie by Sony was an emergency acquisition, and that Bungie was already below the red line before Sony acquired them, which...
There's no way a community manager has the detailed information about the complexities of a merger that's that big between executives.
Especially somebody who lies so much.
Like, I find that to be very unlikely.
Like, even if she was telling the truth, she has no idea what is actually going on. Because it's really all about investors and money exchanging at the top. It's not even about Bungie. It's about Sony's investors.
I can only imagine how low that red line is now.
Let's be
But
real.
eventually they say,
By the way, this girl is one of the people, like, these are the fake jobs that are invented to employ women. Like, every single, like, skill set that she has, none of them increase shareholder value.
Exactly.
It's all just worthless fake jobs so they can feel good about hiring women.
the funny thing is about
The international investors really got into that for a little while. They thought that they could change things, and it just made everything worse, and they're going to be pulling back from that very, very soon. Or they're going to crumble. I mean, I don't think they want to crumble. We're already seeing it.
PR, marketing, fucking, what was the other one? Community management. Nobody cares about this garbage. Discord management. What are we doing? Yeah, HR. Yeah, it's female daycare. Yeah, exactly.
the truth. It is what it is, whether you like it or not. Remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, remember about the truth, because we're going to see what the truth looks like in just a second.
Yeah.
But Leanna also said
truth.
you're entitled to be wrong and that they'll remain committed to the truth, because unlike them, they have access to info, including
Twitch operates the same.
direct
Yeah.
access from leadership and legal.
If you actually had access to leadership and legal and you were talking about it in a way that was legitimate, you'd be violating any NDA that you sign whenever you leave any company.
Yeah.
This is common sense. Everybody knows this. Every reasonable person knows that you're not going to share public information like this about the nature of a big merger like this. I mean, what do we even, like,
Also, is she an executive? No? Then she has no idea what's going on.
this is insane that it's even happening.
She's talking about what she's seeing, and that's not really what's going on.
So now we shift over to what just transpired, and shout outs to Smash JT for getting the screenshots
Hell
here,
yeah.
and also, I think, leading to the truth here by pressing Leanna, him among others, of course, but you can see his tweet sharing a screenshot. Former Bungie community manager Leanna Rupert insinuates she was attacked at GCX.
This is
immediately backs off and acts like everyone misunderstands her after it goes viral. All they do is lie. They want so much to make gamers the bad guy on their crusade to co-opt the game industry. Speak up, speak out, meme them into the ground. Screenshot credit to this user. So here is the screenshot, right? It begins by saying some Destiny players really hate me.
Wait, she's
apparently,
actually
with
lying.
a screenshot
Look.
of Leanna with a cut on her forehead.
Girl, what
and
happened?
That by itself might have
Yeah.
passed as a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Obviously, Destiny players do not like Leanna, and whatever happened here, this incident left this mark here. And you might say, oh, it's just a joke, saying, oh, see what Destiny players did to me, they're really mad.
Yeah.
But it's this confirmation that makes this a gigantic lie. So someone says, girl, what happened? And Leanna responds saying, I got cornered twice at GCX.
Oh.
Making it abundantly clear to anyone being objective here
Okay.
that she is heavily insinuating that she was attacked by Destiny players at GCX.
I mean, she's saying it. What happened? And I mean, like, that's insane. Can
She
GCX
is insane.
retaliate for defamation? I don't think nothing's realistically going to happen, but I do think that this should get you blacklisted. And the reason, like, I always, ever since Notch called me out for that, I think about it every time I say it. But why they should do that is because not only is she, like, whenever you have people that are posting injuries on social media saying, look at me, I just got assaulted at this public convention, do you know what I would be thinking about? I would be thinking to myself, wow, I don't want to go to that public convention. I might get assaulted. So, yeah, she's making the convention look bad, and she's also damaging Bungie because she's implying that she got beat up by some Destiny player, which means that Bungie has, like, violent people in their community or something.
Yeah, I think that she just needs to be absolutely blacklisted from every company. I think all of these people should be.
Like that.
I've been saying
I think
it for a
that
long
is
time.
very
Oh my
obvious
God.
We would have never got to this point.
based on the context. And I feel very bad for GCX. It sounds like they had a
I think every gaming corporation needs to hire me as a consultant.
great event, and now they have this post going viral claiming that someone was attacked by Destiny players
Oh my
at their
God.
events, and they had to weigh in, saying, just clarifying here now that we've spoken as several people are pinging and reaching out, this incident did not occur during the event, but at the airport, and we advised to contact Orlando Police Department or the equivalent airport law enforcement agency.
Yeah.
And that's coming from the director of event safety
Damn, she got fucking owned in real time. Holy shit. I love X.
and security. So
it was literally a lie that damages the reputation of Bungie and also of the event organizers, just so this girl can have some, I don't know, a sympathy post or something about this. Oh my god. What a horrible person.
they are very clearly disproving what she was initially claiming, that she was cornered and attacked at GCX. No, whatever transpired here was at the airport, completely separate area.
What an
and of
insane
course, people are still defending.
Causing problems for no fucking reason, dude. And a bunch of low IQ retards, IQ 85 morons, are not even, they're just gonna run with it. Even if they see confirmation, they're still gonna run with it because they don't care.
Leanna, even though it's been
Wait, what? A game dev friend was physically assaulted at an airport because an attacker, a player from a game she used to, quote, work on, hates her. If you find yourself wanting to harm someone because you don't like them personally or a game they work on, move the fuck on. How does she know that it was because of Destiny?
proven, she was lying and trying to basically farm this event for pity and
Oh my god.
a victim mode for likes and sympathy. You can see this person say,
Woman
a game
moment,
dev
true.
friend was physically assaulted at an airport because the attacker, a player from a game she used to work on, checks notes, hates her. If you find yourself wanting to harm someone because you don't
Wouldn't there
like
be
them
some kind of
personally
video evidence?
or the game they work on, move the F on,
Yeah.
get help.
Yeah, where's the evidence that it was a Destiny fan? Even if somebody said they're a Destiny fan, like, what? Acting like this is what Destiny fans are like? Give me a fucking break. It was just an insane person.
So even when it's proven she was lying about the event, or at least trying to misrepresent where this all occurred, putting this event
I'll pull this girl's Twitter up after
into
this.
hot water, by the way, people still defend Leanna and confirm the narrative that it was Destiny players that found her in real life and assaulted
Who
her.
the fuck even... Yeah, like, why are you even saying that about Destiny players?
And here's my thing, when it comes to the truth, if you're lying about one thing, it's very hard to believe any part of your story.
You're probably
So if you're
lying
lying
about
about where this took place and only confirmed it was at the airports,
And all of the other trash with the white racism and stuff like that, self-hating white person. Yeah, it all just adds up to this being a psychotic cunt.
when you had your arm twisted, including by those working the convention, I have to start questioning your entire narrative. That is the normal way to look at this, right? If you're lying about one thing, how do we know you're not lying about everything?
Exactly.
And of course, after GCX made their post, you can see Leanna saying, I deleted because I realized how misleading it sounded. I got cornered twice while at GCX is what I should have said. Kind of hard to dispute that it was a Destiny player when they were shouting how I ruined the game.
Oh, okay.
So they're still going with the narrative that it was a Destiny player,
I don't believe you.
but
I think that's enough for me to assume that it was a Destiny player. I do. I think that's enough.
they're admitting that they were being
Destiny player. It was just a fucking retard who played Destiny. That was it. Acting like this fucking... With that kind of wording, it makes it sound like Destiny players are out doing this shit.
misleading with their initial post, and I think that was exactly
Yeah,
their
I mean,
intent.
realistically.
How else do you
I still
say
don't
what
believe it.
Leanna said without trying to give the
I mean, like, I also, like, by the way, she's probably lying that they even said that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she lied about this happening. She said it was at the event. The event had to come over and correct her. She's probably lying about this, too.
I bet it was an immigrant. I bet it was a Muslim. And she just fucking just thought of something else because she didn't want to say who it actually was. For clicks. For validation.
impression
Guaranteed.
that they were attacked by
I mean,
Destiny
black
players
person.
at GCX. But of course, they would get hit with a notes, and W community notes, as always, clarifying that this incident occurred at the
Probably faker,
airport.
there'd be videos
and
confirming
how
this.
did
Exactly.
other people respond
She wasn't attacked by a Destiny player. She was attacked by a street monkey.
to this?
Yeah.
Saying Orlando is a big city. She called out
Orlando's-
players, not the events. She even clarified it didn't happen at the event.
She clarified that it did happen at the event. She said at GCX. Like, that's at the event.
That should be enough.
That's the event.
You just created that claim out of the ether because you have some kind of bias against her due better. They're still defending her at this point. The shills will shill forever, ladies and gentlemen. But how did all of this drama end? Well,
this is why I don't make replies and shit like that whenever I see something bad, because I don't know if it's come out that it actually wasn't. It was actually all fabricated. I don't get into tiffs like that. I don't insult people online. I will insult, like, creators and studios and corporations and shit like that. But that's different.
Well, you already know. She would private her account.
Good.
And again, privating with 500,000 plus followers is...
If she privates her account, we'll wait for her to unprivate it, and then we can make content out of her. This seems like a very obnoxious, unlikable person. I think that we can get a lot of content out of this person.
Just, what is even the point? It's literally just to play the victim, right?
Excellent.
It's like,
this
look at me,
lovely.
I'm hurting right now, I'm being attacked, I'm privating my account. It's really just shallow and just, again, the victim mentality, the desire to be the center of attention and the victim amongst these people in the gaming industry is so prevalent, and it's so intoxicating for them that they will make up crazy stories.
I see myself as a victim. I am a victim of the world, the entire world and everything in it. And whenever you get to that level, you just don't fucking care anymore.
And only say the truth when they've had their arm twisted and are basically forced to tell the truth. And then, and even then, they still play the victim. But anyways, that's going to do for this video. If you enjoyed, please consider giving the video a like, consider subscribing and turning on notifications for daily uploads, as well as multiple streams every week live here on YouTube. But overall, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
How fucking embarrassing, bro. How insanely fucking embarrassing that you go out and, yeah, there's the video right there. Any basic logic? Let me look at this right now. I'm going to pull this girl's account up. So what was it? Dirty frickin' hippie? Was that it? Let me
and then,
see it.
Is it still
Dirty
locked?
Effin'. Okay, let me pull this person up.
Guaranteed.
We're going to find him. There we go.
Verified.
Wow. Yep, account still protected.
Verified with the account protected. How about that? That's so weird.
Yep. Would have never expected that. Blue hair classic. I know, guys. And these are the people that we have allowed into the gaming.
That means that only people that she's following and are following her back can see her posts, and she's still posting, or is she just not posting at all? I don't really know how that works because I leave everything wide open. I don't block anybody even, unless they're obviously a bot.
Community, and they are now part of the community because of the need of creating equality in the workplace. Is that we have invented fake jobs, community managing, marketing, and all this other bullshit in order for these people to feel like they're doing something. I'm helping. I guarantee you, if it was just like Twitter and Elon fired 80% of these people, nothing in the company would change. Actually, that's not true. It would probably run better.
Agreed.
Blue Sky, same name. I don't know who this person is on Blue Sky. I have no idea. Is this her website? I mean, I don't even know who this... Yeah, like, community manager, narrative writer, influencer manager, PR, marketing, event... Dude.
I just want to point out this thing that says host, event planning. Do you realize how much money they spend on these events and these parties that are for, like, content creators... and for insiders, and for the game journalists like Alyssa Mercante, like Anita Sarkeesian, people like that. She's not a game journalist exactly, more of a consultant. But still, like, these parties get thrown for all these people. Tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars for each one. Often foreign countries, usually.
Media accessibility. Like, dude... This is the biggest list of fake credentials that I've ever heard in my life.
Even ghost hunting.
Oh my God. These are the exact type of job specifications that absolutely need to be removed. Like, it's so many fake jobs. Yeah, it's the she has the infinity gauntlet of fake jobs.
Hi guys, it's me again. Today we're going to talk about the
revelations
recently that have come out about the Blizzard sexual assault lawsuit, investigation, controversy, and everything that happened in 2021, 2022.
I was there.
For anybody who was living under a rock, then Blizzard went under a completely cataclysmic level of accusations, things ranging from, like assault at the workplace causing an employee to kill themselves, from employees
yeah, I forgot about that.
Allegedly stealing breast milk out of the, out of the employee.
Yeah, that was fucking insane. That's when I was like, all right, I'm starting to not believe this story.
Refrigerator, and the implication, of course, is that they're drinking it like Homelander or something. And so all of these crazy, outlandish, insane...
Yeah, saying there was like a frat boy culture going on that was based around all of these things.
Accusations. Wow, guys, big surprise. It turns out...
And didn't they say there was like a Bill Cosby closet or something like that?
That a lot of them seem to be bullshit. They found no evidence for many of them. They found that some people retracted their accusations, and if you go through a lot of filings with the California, the department that were investigating them, one of the points of failure that Blizzard had was the fact that they had a bunch of white men that were running the company. Oh my god, well, if you've got that, it must mean that you're drinking everybody's breast milk too. Well, it sure seems like that's not the case. So anyway, I wanted to talk about kind of and break this whole down and look and contextualize all of it. Like, whenever this happened, obviously, I think that it really was the perfect storm for Blizzard because, I mean, at the time, Shadowlands was a piece of shit. This was the current WoW expansion. Overwatch was garbage. People hated Overwatch. Heroes of the Storm was dead. You would say StarCraft is dead, but that would imply that Blizzard knows what StarCraft even is. And basically every other... Warcraft Reforged came out, and it was terrible. Basically, Blizzard...
Wasn't that around the time Diablo Immortal was having some, they were having fallout for that, and people were wondering about Diablo 4? It was just not good.
Instead of couldn't miss, Blizzard couldn't...
Also, it was COVID, and they were an Xbox property, or they were gonna be... I don't remember the timeline.
Hit. They were getting
it was all kinds of craziness
thing wrong in every single game. And this was coming off of the heels of Battle for Azeroth that was also a piece of shit. So basically, the amount of hostility, animosity, and frustration towards Blizzard was at an all-time high. Like, it was never going to be, any better, any worse than this. Then on top of that, Final Fantasy XIV, they finally kind of come into their own. They're now making their games the way that they want to. The game has its own identity. It's no longer derivative or, vestigial WoW
I've never
systems.
played it.
And it's really its own game. So you have a lot of people, that moved over and started playing Final Fantasy XIV at the time. And I think what happened is that happened, the sexual assault lawsuit happened, and you have to remember that, like, 2021, whenever all these things were happening all at the same time, this was like peak woke, right? It was like, this is the point where it was believe all women, every accusation is a conviction, and, if you ask questions or ask for evidence, you are basically a rapist.
Lockdowns were still happening, all the COVID bullshit was all over the news still.
So, and you had an entire culture that was, created around enabling this. And I think that culture, one of the biggest victims to it was Blizzard. Now, one thing I can say, too, though, is that I don't think that all of the accusations were fake. I think that, I think that sexual harassment, this is going to sound maybe a very black pill thing to say, but I think sexual harassment is sexual assault even, is it's an outcome of the human condition. Every company,
I think that there was a bunch of weirdos at Activision Blizzard also, so that probably didn't help. The kinds of people that people would complain smelled bad at the magic shop.
Group of people, like, how many of you guys know somebody in any organization that you've been in where, like, something weird like this happened? I think that this is just what happens when men and women get together, and when women and women get together, you have different problems, and whenever men and men get together, you have different problems. Like, basically, people have problems, right?
Especially when they're a bunch of weird leftoid freaks, which even before all of the women took over, they were still a bunch of leftoid freaks there.
Condition is imperfect, and
they like had a fixation on hating Donald Trump and white men, even though they were white men.
So I do think that, like, maybe 20-30%, maybe even 40% of some of the accusations made against Blizzard were accurate, and I think that they were true, and I think Blizzard should have been held accountable for that. But I think that a lot of the more outlandish ones, the employee killing yourself,
all of the fake shit that got pushed through social media and flamed up, it just made the actual real stuff fall apart and seem like it was all just bullshit. And it does not matter to people because they're just scrolling by.
breast milk stuff, some of the like the Cosby Room, all the like really extreme stuff. A lot of that stuff probably wasn't true, and we're not really 100% sure on this, right? But like the California government and the independent investigations, and also you have people coming out and then taking back what they were saying. I mean, you put all these things together, and you're starting to come to a bit of a conclusion that maybe this didn't happen the way they said it did, right? And so if
it was a full commie takeover.
There's literally
it was happening
no
everywhere
that can be found by anybody, including the government.
And like real, actual, cool, good people aren't going to be trying to work at Blizzard, honestly, because it's just corporate bullshit over there, and all the wokeism is just more corporatism packed on top of it. Nobody wants that shit.
Because you've got to keep in mind that an independent investigation, I don't want to go too far off in this tangent, but it's important to keep in mind, an independent investigation does not have the power of discovery. They only have the power of basically, surrender. So, like, if you surrender information to them, they will be able to use that information, but they cannot legally compel you to, use information. They can't necessarily go and get deleted files. They don't have the same type of forensic capabilities that a government does. But even the government of California was not able to substantiate a lot of these claims and a lot of this evidence. So that would lead me to believe that a lot of this probably didn't happen exactly the way that it said that it happened. Now, also, there's the other culture of the frat culture, right? And in my opinion,
that's what I was
don't
hearing
think
a
this
lot.
is a bad thing. Maybe this is me. Maybe this is episode 3,957 of me being a chud, okay? But I don't think...
Let's see, with the frat boy culture, it depends on what they mean by that, because if it's like this, my team, go team, kind of frat boy like in college that's all about sports and stuff, if it's that kind of frat boy, I don't want it. If it's the kind of frat boys that brought us the very first Doom game, that's what I want.
That frat boy culture is fundamentally a bad thing. I don't think that, if you have a bunch of guys acting like young guys, or even old guys that also generally act like young guys still, they all get together and they act like assholes, they're drinking, they're, saying things that are crass, inappropriate, and I'm not talking about sexually harassing employees, I'm just talking about using coarse language and, saying the kinds of things that guys say, right? These types of things are really not a bad thing. And I think that culturally for a while, for like a good maybe 5 or 10 years, I'd say starting in 2014, I would say ending in 2024 with Trump being elected, there was a idea that this level of like masculinity was almost synonymous with being bad, being problematic,
I think there was a lot of money behind it. I think there was a whole bunch of fraud and funding money that was behind all of this message, the message.
Something that needed to be fixed, a problem that had to be solved. And I think that now, especially because this is what happened, right? You go back and you look at the old pictures of Alex Straza, right? Okay. She's the dragon, the red dragon goddess in World of Warcraft. And, I guess what the red dragon goddess in World of Warcraft looked like in the year 2007, right? I mean, this is obviously the hottest fucking chick with a chainmail bikini. Then they remake her, obviously, for Dragonflight, and this came right off the heels of this big sexual harassment lawsuit. And, now she's wearing way more clothes. She's, like, totally toned down. Boobs are smaller, all these things. And
everything's purple and teal. That bisexual lighting's there. Gotta have all the trans colors. Gotta have a character in a wheelchair.
Told people, I was like, listen, guys, like, let's be a little bit pragmatic here, okay? Do you really think that they're going to, right off the heels of all of these allegations, and also in the cultural climate, the main box art character is a big titty, pretty dragon girl
they should have
a chainmail bikini? Do you really think they're going to do this? No, they're not. It would be incredibly based if they did, but it did not happen, and it never would have happened. So it seems like this was a hit job that was done by a lot of the HR types. I think it was done also by, people.
Bunch of drama club weirdos. Trust me, I was in drama club. Everybody in there was weird. I was not like them.
That are in.
And I was a way better actor because I was able to just be real.
Like, Blizzard was always, let's be real, guys. Blizzard was a chud company. It absolutely was. They made games for chuds, and it was fucking amazing. We had an incredible 20...
Every fucking company was making games for chuds because that's the normal demographic for people who have money.
years, didn't we? It was great.
Americans.
But things changed.
The true
And I think that
Americans. The people who love America and capitalism and bombing people that we don't like because they're fucking with us.
Fundamentally, the culture changed so much that they found themselves in a position, because they did mismanage World of Warcraft, and I think this had nothing to do with women or, like woke or anything. I think they just fucked the game up. And I think that, you have stacking debuffs, and eventually so many stacking debuffs put you in execute range. And I think that really that sexual assault lawsuit really did execute the credibility of the company, and also the capacity of the company to make a good product. I don't really think that anything that they've made ever since then has been really that great. Overwatch is fine. World of Warcraft Classic is fine, or retail is fine. But
there's going to be articles in the future talking about how these games existed once. That's what's going to happen. That's what happens with all the games. Are you going to be painted in a good light when people want to continue playing your product? Or is it going to be known as one of those things that happened that people aren't really going to get into, even if they wanted to get into, they probably couldn't, because it's going to all be shut down whenever they stop wanting people to play it and want to move on. But this stuff isn't going to be played in the future. It's not going to hold up for the future, and that's what you need. You're not supposed to be pandering to the modern audience. You are pandering to the people 10 years from now, 20 years from now.
But, nothing is, special, right? Nothing has, the same type of, cultural relativity that World of Warcraft originally had, or Diablo 3 had, or Overwatch had, especially Overwatch, right? People see characters from Overwatch and they say, oh, wow, she's from a video game? I didn't even know that. And that's where we're at. Yeah, they didn't say that in 2018 when the shit came out. It was a popular fucking game. Everybody knew about Overwatch. Now, people don't even know where the characters came from. So, anyway, this is a big problem. It's a huge problem, and I think it's really sad to think about it. I, in a way, feel guilty, because obviously I was a big person who pushed this. I don't completely...
Yeah, it's not really your fault, because this is what was being pushed in the social media. I don't really blame people for that. I blame people for falling for the media when they should be, questioning everything. And that's what he did, and that's kind of what led to this whole situation happening. Because it just kind of seemed like a thing that would be true, and it kind of was. There was some weird stuff going on there, definitely. This is what happens when you lie and lie and lie and lie and manipulate and lie and pander. Whenever true things seem like they're happening, when they're not actually happening, This is what you get. This is the kind of energy you get. And it is entirely the gaming journalists' their fault. It's the gaming devs. It's the corporations. It's the investors. Dude, it is so many people's fault. That's why I don't listen to nobody. So I don't really blame Asmongold for that. I do kind of blame him for immediately believing everybody. I blame people for that. You shouldn't do that. Whenever all of the publications are pushing a story, you should probably question it. There's probably an agenda behind it.
Feel like I was wrong in a way, but I think at the same time, given the situation and everything, it does feel bad to know that, the position that I was in, I believed a lot of this stuff, and I still believe at least some of it probably actually did happen, but at the same time, whenever you find out that you were effectively co-opted by a lie, I think everybody was, it can be very frustrating, and it can be upsetting, and it can make you feel stupid, and it's annoying that happened. And I think that fundamentally now, one of the worst things about this is, I think this is the worst problem, is that whenever one of these big controversies happens, and then it manifests into effectively nothing, and it's even recanted and taken back, I think that what that does is it poisons the well for future survivors, for future victims, to be able to come forward and talk about bad experiences that they had.
Yeah, and I'm never gonna believe any game journalists ever again. Ever. I was already there, but, sometimes I do take their stories, and I'm like, this thing happened. I'm always gonna question everything. This shit pisses me off, dude. Let me tell you. To no end.
I might be a chud.
And then you see the same fucking post 20 times by all the publications just trying to get it in your head that this thing is happening. I fucking hate it, even when it is happening. It's like, bro, I just need one post.
I might be an asshole, I might be a bit of a sexist, but I don't think anybody should expect to go to work and be sexually harassed. I don't think anybody should expect to be touched without their consent, and I don't think that any of those things shouldn't warrant you getting fired. I think if you treat a person that way, if you invade a person's personal space, if you grab them in a way that's inappropriate, I think you need to leave the company. That's just not something that we do in civilized Western society, and I think that that's been the case for a really long time, and that's a good thing. But at the same time, I think that you need to draw the line and understand where a mixed signal or maybe an accusation isn't necessarily the truth necessarily, right? I'm not saying it isn't always the truth, but sometimes it's not. And so I think that really this should give people another reminder to trust but verify.
Either way, whether all of this stuff was true, whether all of it isn't true, whether some of it's true, if none of this even ever happened, I still would not be playing a Blizzard Activision game. See, it's just, kind of a nothing burger for me. It doesn't change my stance on things whatsoever. It actually kind of makes me lean more away from the gaming publications, because really all of this was made so much worse because of Jason Schreier.
It's important to make sure that we listen to what people who are, potential survivors or people who are, victims of these types of behaviors. We have to listen to them and at least to a certain degree understand what they're saying to be potentially true in order to investigate and figure out whether it actually is. But at the same time, I think that especially then, and even now, we need to take ourselves away from the perspective of just looking at it from the dimension of, okay, well, this person said this, let's take it with zero evidence, right? And whenever you really
that's
go
what
back
I say.
and think about it, and this is
show me the evidence.
Something that's important to keep in mind. What evidence really was presented?
There was none.
What evidence?
I believe that was one of the points that I brought up when I talked about this before. That there was no evidence, so I was taking it all with a grain of salt. I think it helped that the person that I was reacting to was also saying that, and it, made me think about it. I just don't remember. I tried finding the video, but I didn't put Activision or Blizzard in the name, so it didn't pop up in my search.
Was really out there that Blizzard had all these huge problems. It was really just people saying this, right? There were no real pictures, there were no videos, there was no chat messages and anything that was leaked out or anything like that. It was just simply a, basically a he said, she said situation. And so I think that what happened now is that, we've had that happen, and now there are people come forward and they do say, hey, I was taken advantage of, abused, etc. And because of the bad actions of seemingly the people in California and also Blizzard making these accusations or embellishing them seemingly, now it's going to be even harder for people that are legitimate to be taken seriously. And I think that's a very, very sad and bad thing to have happen. So really, to me, I am just disappointed in this whole thing. I'm disappointed to see what's happened. I don't really think that, if this hadn't happened, Blizzard would still be making games that are on the same level of aura of, like the Warlords of Draenor cinematic. I don't think that really would have happened either way. But at the same time, I think that it definitely would be better than it is now. And the more that I read the way the California filings, almost demonize the idea that they had a certain, dominant, gender or ethnic group that was running the company, and they looked at this as an intrinsic problem, I realized that this seems to be a hit job. This seemed to be a instance in which they wanted this company to comply with an ideology, and the company was not complying with the ideology, and then they weaponized different complaints.
How about
and
that?
Different,
that's how commies work, man.
Legislative and legal and administrative.
We need to start gutting them out of these companies, man. We got to start pulling them out. We need to pull them out of the United States to actually.
And judicial things to punish them for.
Yeah, I don't want to kill them or anything. I just want to send them over to Australia. That I think that's a good place. Or maybe they want to protect Greenland so much. Maybe we'll send them to Greenland. I don't think any of those people over there would like them, though.
For not acquiescing and not basically playing along. And I think that's really sad to see happen, especially whenever you have a lot of people who lost their jobs over this. Obviously, Blizzard, it's you used to, a lot of people, every game dev that I know, right, or anybody that I knew that got into game dev or whatever, they would always tell me, well, the dream job is to be able to work at Blizzard, right? Well, now you don't want to work at Blizzard because people ask you, okay, so who was drinking the breast milk, right? And it just, it's not as exciting as people that want to know what the new WoW expansion is, okay?
Yeah, I think Blizzard needs to sue the fuck out of Jason Schreier.
So it's a little bit awkward, you could say. So that's really the video I wanted to talk about. You know, right now it's always going to be, I think it'll forever be a he said, she said situation. I think many of the accusations probably were to some degree true, but at the extent that they were, you know, presented, it's probably not accurate. And it seemed like Blizzard...
Yeah, if some of it's a lie, all of it's a lie. It doesn't even matter at that point.
Was not acquiescing to the, you know, woke identity politics agenda
Yeah,
stuff.
They did it to themselves. They, you know, they shouldn't have fucking done it. They shouldn't have fucked around. They shouldn't have went woke.
And this was, of course, evidenced in, of course, what I said before, the filings, right? This was defined as a problem. And fundamentally, I think that there is a war on, you know, that type of culture. And the people that use these types of rules will do this, and they will weaponize and pull every lever they possibly can. And I think that it's important that us that are normal people, right, have to make sure that we have our guard up and not let people subvert us or lie or take advantage of us.
And whenever they do shit like that, stop buying their products.
Like they have many times. And I think this is just one more example of it. And I wanted to make this video and talk about it and just kind of set the record straight, at least the best that I can, because I talked about it a lot whenever it happened. So I'd be curious to hear everybody else's thoughts on this and what everybody else thinks. And at the end of the day, you know, I'll be keeping up with this as, you know, more pieces of information arise. But ultimately...
Yeah, this is definitely going to get worse.
It's just really sad to see what happened, and I hope that, you know, I hope things can get better, and I hope obviously we can move past this.
Well, I mean, they will, because all of these people will be shut the fuck down eventually.
Hysteria. I think that we already are, as evidenced by the amount of blowback and hostility for, you know, these accusations now, but it's a long road to go. And we're not there yet, but I'm glad to see at least one of these things that was bullshit be put to bed. So anyway, guys, that's about it. That's it. Wow, how about that? Who could have expected all these outlandish stories were actually seemingly mostly embellished? So anyway, thank you all very much for watching. Curious to hear what everybody thinks in the comments, and I will talk to you all in the next one. Peace.
What a bunch of retards.